It is 9 p.m. on a Thursday in March. Hassan is sitting at his kitchen table with a stack of credit card statements spread out in front of him. The numbers blur together under the overhead light. $31,000 across 4 cards. His chest feels tight. He is 43 years old, a middle school science teacher for 17 years, and he just realized something that is keeping him awake. The minimum payments add up to $812 a month. That is more than his car payment. His retirement account has $62,000 in it. He did the calculator math 3 times, hoping it would change. At this rate, he retires at 67 with maybe 400,000 saved. That number felt huge when he was 25. Now he knows what it means. $22,000 a year to live on if he follows the 4% rule. He thinks about his mortgage, his daughter's college fund that never quite grew the way he imagined, the kitchen remodel they financed 2 years ago that seemed reasonable at the time. Across town, Omar parks his 12-year-old Honda Accord in the driveway of the same modest house he bought in 2009. Same teaching job, same salary band as Hassan, started the same year at the same school district. But Omar's retirement account has $490,000 in it. His house is paid off. He has zero credit card debt. He does not feel rich. He drives a car with 170,000 miles on it and packs lunch 4 days a week. But the Vanguard app on his phone shows a number that will let him retire at 60 with over $1.3 million. 15 years from now, the gap between Hassan and Omar will be $1.4 million. If you are in your late 30s or 40s and feeling behind, you have probably had that exact moment too. The late-night calculator panic, the chest tightness, the thought that maybe you missed your window. Stick around till the end because the math you are about to see changes how you read those numbers forever. The difference between Hassan and Omar is not talent, not salary, and it is not what you think. I am Jimmy. This is Late to Wealth. If you are tired of being told you are behind, subscribe. Here is the lie the financial industry sells to middle-class families. They tell you that you are doing fine as long as you have a retirement account and you own a house. Check those 2 boxes and you are on track. The truth is darker and simpler. According to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finance, the median retirement account balance for families aged 45 to 54 is only $61,000. That is not a typo. 61,000. For people a decade away from retirement. The median net worth for that same age group, including home equity, is $190,000. Sounds better until you realize most of that is a house they still owe money on. The industry does not want you to know this because broke middle-class families are the most profitable customers. You finance cars, you carry credit card balances, you pay mortgage interest for 30 years. You buy whole life insurance because the agent said it is forced savings. Every one of those products generates fees and interest for someone else. Let me show you the 7 mistakes that keep this cycle spinning. These are not moral failures. These are mathematical errors, and the difference between Hassan and Omar comes down to which ones they avoided. Mistake 1. Celebrating the tax refund like it is free money. Hassan got a $4,200 refund last April. He felt like he won something. Took his family to Disney for spring break. Paid off 1 credit card. Bought a new grill. The refund felt like a bonus. Here is what it actually was. The government held his money all year and gave it back with 0 interest. He essentially gave the IRS an interest-free loan for 12 months. If he had adjusted his W-4 to break even, that $4,200 would have come to him as an extra $350 a month throughout the year. Let me show you the math. $350 a month invested in a target date retirement fund at 10% average annual return. After 10 years, that is $69,000. After 20 years, that is $241,000. Hassan threw a party with it instead. Omar adjusted his withholding in 2014. His refunds dropped to $300. He automated the extra monthly cash into his 401k. That single decision is worth over $200,000 by the time he retires. The middle-class trap is mistaking a tax refund for wealth instead of recognizing it as poor cash flow management. Mistake 2, financing everything because the payment fits the budget. Hassan finances his cars, always has. Right now, he has a 2023 SUV with a $512 monthly payment on a 6-year loan at 6.9% interest. The dealership told him he could afford it because the payment fit his budget. Technically true, but here is the trade nobody tells you about. That $512 a month is $6,144 a year. Over 6 years, he pays $36,864 for a car that depreciates to $18,000 by the time the loan is paid off. He lost $18,000 just driving it. Then he trades it in and finances another one. He has been doing this every 6 years since he was 28. 3 cars, 3 loans, over $50,000 in depreciation and interest paid. Omar bought a 3-year-old Honda Accord in 2011 for $14,000 cash. He still drives it. It has 170,000 miles. He spent $6,000 in maintenance over 13 years. Total cost of ownership, $20,000. Hassan spent $50,000 in the same period and currently owns nothing. The $30,000 difference compounded at 10% over 15 years is $125,000. That is the real cost of always having a nice car. The same logic applies to furniture, electronics, vacations. If the pitch is no payments for 12 months, you are soldi math trap. Mistake 3. Treating the house as the retirement plan. Hassan bought his house in 2015 for $320,000. Put down 6%. Financed $291,000 on a 30-year mortgage at 4.2%. His payment is $1,430 a month before property taxes and insurance. Total monthly cost is about $2,100. Today, the house is worth $470,000. He feels wealthy because the Zillow estimate went up, but he still owes $240,000. His equity is $230,000. Sounds great until you realize he paid $96,000 in mortgage interest so far. Another $40,000 in property taxes. He is underwater on the actual math. And here is the part that keeps middle-class families broke. You cannot eat equity. Unless you sell the house and move somewhere cheaper, that number does nothing for your retirement income. Most people do not downsize. They stay in the same house, pay off the mortgage at 67, and still have $2,400 a month in property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities. Meanwhile, their $400,000 retirement account generates $22,000 a year at a 4% withdrawal rate. That is not enough. Omar bought a house in 2009 for $180,000 during the crash. He paid it off in 15 years by rounding up his mortgage payment and throwing every bonus and tax refund at the principal. His house is worth $360,000 today. But more importantly, he has no mortgage. His monthly housing cost is $1,100 for taxes, insurance, and maintenance. The money Hassan pays in mortgage interest every month, Omar invests. That is another $600 a month compounding for 15 years. The truly rich move is not buying the biggest house you can afford. It is buying the smallest house you can tolerate and paying it off fast so you can invest the difference. Before we get into the next part, if this is making sense so far, subscribe. Late to Wealth posts a new math breakdown every week for people who started late and refuse to give up. Mistake 4. Keeping up with coworkers instead of your own plan. Hassan and Omar work in the same building. They see the same people every day. And here is where the social pressure becomes a wealth killer. When 3 teachers in the department lease new cars the same year, it feels normal to do the same. When everyone takes summer trips to Europe, staying home feels like losing. When your principal remodels her kitchen, yours starts to feel outdated. This is called lifestyle creep, and it is the financial version of slowly turning up the heat on a frog. By the time you notice, your $78,000 teacher salary feels stretched, even though it is $20,000 more than you made a decade ago. Hassan makes $76,000 a year now. He made $52,000 when he started. His savings rate stayed the same, 6% into his 401k. The rest disappeared into a bigger house, nicer cars, better vacations, and private swim lessons for his daughters. None of those things are bad, but the opportunity cost is brutal. Omar makes $78,000. When he got raises, he increased his 401k contribution. He is currently maxing it out at $23,500 a year. That is 30% of his gross income. His coworkers think he is cheap. He does not care. He knows what they do not. The 15 years between 45 and 60 are the highest earning, highest savings years of your life. If you blow them on lifestyle inflation, you do not get them back. Mistake 5. Paying for college instead of funding retirement. Hassan has 2 daughters. He opened 529s for both of them when they were born. Contributed $150 a month total for 15 years. The accounts have about $40,000 in them now, not enough to cover 4 years at a state school. But he is proud he saved something new. Here is the math that is going to hurt. That $150 a month for 15 years at a 10% return is $62,000. If he had put that into his Roth IRA instead and let it grow for another 15 years until retirement, it becomes $259,000. Now his daughters will take out student loans anyway because $40,000 does not cover much. They will pay those loans off in their 30s. But Hassan will retire broke because he prioritized their education over his own financial survival. There is no scholarship for retirement. Your kids can borrow for school. You cannot borrow for retirement. Omar does not have kids, but his sister does. She asked him to contribute to her son's 529. He said no. He gave his nephew $2,000 when he graduated high school and told him to read a book on index funds. That felt cold to his sister. But Omar knows he is not going to be a burden on his family at 70 because he will have his own money. That is the gift. Not paying for college. Mistake 6. Believing you need an advisor because investing is too complicated. Hassan has a financial advisor he met at a retirement seminar in 2016. The advisor manages his 401k rollover, charges 1.2% on you annually. Hassan has $80,000 with him. That fee is $960 a year. Sounds small. Let me show you the math over 20 years. $80,000 growing at 10% annually for 20 years with no fees becomes $539,000. The same $80,000 growing at 8.8% after fees becomes $418,000. The advisor cost him $121,000. For what? Putting him in a target date fund he could have bought himself at Vanguard for 0.1%. Omar has never paid for financial advice. He read 3 books: The Simple Path to Wealth, The Little Book of Common Sense Investing, The Boglehead's Guide to Investing. He put everything into a target date retirement fund and a total stock market index. His average expense ratio is 0.04%. The difference in fees over 30 years is $200,000. That is the cost of believing investing is too hard for regular people. It is not. The industry just makes more money if you think it is. Mistake 7, waiting for the right time to start investing aggressively. This is the one that kills late starters. Hassan has been waiting for the right time since he was 35. First, he needed to pay off one credit card. Then he needed to save for the kitchen remodel. Then his daughter needed braces. Then the car needed new tires. There is always something. And every year he waits costs him more than the year before because of how compounding works in reverse. Let me show you what I mean. A 35-year-old who invests $500 a month at 10% until 65 ends up with $1,013,000. A 40-year-old who starts the same plan ends up with $623,000. A 45-year-old ends up with $379,000. Every 5 years you wait cuts your final number almost in half. Omar did not wait for perfect conditions. He started maxing his 401k at 39, even though it felt tight. He drove a beater. He skipped vacations. He brought lunch. His lifestyle looked boring to everyone else. But the future version of himself is going to retire at 60 with $1.3 million. Hassan is going to work until 67 and retire with $400,000. The difference is not income. It is not luck. It is 7 mistakes repeated over 17 years. Look, here's what this means for you if you are 43 with $60,000 saved and just realize the clock is ticking. You have 22 years until normal retirement age. If you fix these 7 mistakes today, the math changes completely. Stop celebrating tax refunds and automate that money into retirement. Stop financing cars and drive something boring. Stop counting on your house to fund retirement and pay it off early so you can invest more. Stop keeping up with coworkers and start tracking your savings rate instead of your vacation photos. Stop funding 529s before you max retirement accounts. Stop paying advisors to do what a target date fund does for free. Stop waiting for the perfect time and start now, even if it is uncomfortable. Do that, and 60,000 becomes 900,000 by 65 if you add $600 a month. That is the difference between working until you drop and retiring with dignity. Hassan is 58 now. He is still teaching, still making payments on a car, still has 14 years left on his mortgage. His retirement account has $380,000 in it. He knows the number's not enough. He is planning to work until 70, maybe pick up summer school gigs. His daughter just asked if he could help with a down payment on her first house. He wants to say yes. He does not have the money. Omar is 58. He retired last June. His Vanguard account has $1.2 million. His house is paid off. He drives the same Honda. He spends his mornings hiking and his afternoons reading. He does not feel rich. He feels free. Nobody at the school knew he had money. They thought he was cheap. Turns out he was just playing a different game. Late to wealth is not about judging people like Hassan. It is about showing you the math so you can become Omar while there is still time. The gap between them is not talent. It is just 7 decisions repeated for 2 decades. You still have time to make those decisions. The question is whether you will. Subscribe if you are catching up and ready to stop making these mistakes.